welcome to Talking All Things Business. I'm Faye Waterman, your host, and my guest is Karen Ostenreid. And Karen is an EAL accredited facilitator for Equine Connections Incorporated. She is a voice coach and a body and language specialist, and she comes from Kinglake, Victoria. Karen runs programs to develop teams to create greater success, to future-proof your companies, and programs with irrefutable results in communication, teamwork, leadership, critical thinking, and negotiation. Welcome, Karen.
Thanks very much, Faye. Thank you for inviting me into your space.
That's my pleasure. And you know what? It's exciting because I really am looking forward to finding out exactly what you do. I know a little bit about what you do, but I'd like to know more, and I'm sure the listeners would like to know more about how you can help them and serve them. So, Karen, tell us a little bit about who you are and where you come from.
Okay, so I started off in medical science, in pure research, and absolutely loved it. It was creative, it was problem solving, it was helping people, and the industry that is medical sciences is very collaborative, very supportive, and definitely positive. So I came out of a fantastic career in industry in that. But towards the end, so I did it for 27 years, and I also had a passion for horses. And
so you did that for 27 years, but also the passion for horses, I think, overtook that eventually, didn't it?
Absolutely. So I was wanting to, we got our own horses, and I wanted to get away from the city, from being stuck into the city. Most medical facilities, universities and private institutes are all in the heart of cities, and it's a little bit difficult to keep horses in a domestic backyard. So I was looking to kind of transition out, and plus the traffic getting into the city was getting longer and longer. So I thought, what can I do? I still want to give back to people. I loved medical research, I loved the stimulation and the groups that I was working with, but I wanted to do something that was closer to home and possibly that I could bring the horses into. And all my advice back then when I spoke to career advisors and mentors was they would say, what's your two passions? And I would say, definitely communication and also horses. And they all told me, leave the horses as a hobby and just concentrate on the communication.
Uh-huh. So I'm glad you didn't listen.
No, I did for a short time. I started off teaching presentation skills for business owners and for individuals to present and facilitate speakers. But there was a missing piece. It just wasn't kind of coming together as much as I wanted to. And then we went through the 2009 Black Saturday bushfires.
Yes.
And that was a week after I resigned from science, and I had been teaching singing and performance, which is all about communicating a story by song to your audience.
And using your voice. Yeah, using your voice in the way it needs to be used to project it, teaching people to project their voice, how to speak from the diaphragm and not up in your throat, and all those things. And particularly when you become a speaker, it's really important to know how to do that.
That's right. And it's not only that, it is the mindset. So there are a lot of people there that are busting to present and speaking, and there's a lot of benefits to being able to present clearly and honestly and to make that connection with your audience, because it's not necessarily the facts or the product that you're trying to sell to the audience. You're trying to sell them you as the business owner or you as the product developer, and to get them to have trust in you very quickly. So what I was teaching on the singing performance side, which I transferred to the presentation skills, was that mindset of, it's not about thinking and worrying about what they're going to think about you. You need to think about what you can do to serve your audience.
Yes.
To your audience, and how you can connect with your audience. Once you have that, once you have that connection, that's when they will start listening to you.
Yes.
and trusting you, and then looking at what you have to offer.
Yeah. And it is that connection with the audience. I think most of the time we get involved in our egos and worrying about what people are going to say, the judgments and all that sort of thing. But people, if they know, like, and trust you, come along to see you as the person, you as the individual, and then you provide them with the resources that you have, but they really come to see you as the individual, don't they?
Yes, yeah. And I had, and so after the fires, I stumbled around doing the communication pieces during the rebuilding process, which made it particularly difficult, and then discovered equine assisted therapy. So, and because I thought I was fine as a high functioning individual, I was operations officer of a biotech company and set it up from scratch and had all this expertise and skills behind me. But the going through the bushfires really kind of blew the wind out of my sails, if you like, and I had to then refocus, which was, I suppose, the catalyst for me to getting into what I do now. And it is, so bringing the horses into the communication piece, and also it made me blatantly aware of how that relates to leadership and teamwork. It was the missing piece of the puzzle. So the communication business was okay, but bringing the horses in to have that instant feedback mechanism and to be able to test what you're learning in real time was that missing piece.
Yeah.
And just absolutely love it now.
Yeah. So you said you went through the fires, and you, to this day, are still rebuilding, and I know that, and that's a tough gig in itself. But what you're actually doing for the community and what you're doing for organisations and corporations is bringing them into an area that they probably would never experience in their lifetime, and showing them the horses and what the horses can do for them. And you've shown me, and I've experienced it, and it is amazing, because you said that the horses feel the vibration of your heart from 40 or 50 meters away, and they can also sense whether you're highly stressed or whether you're relaxed, and they will either want to deal with you or not deal with you. So this is all a part of leadership, and that's all around people too, because people sense other people's stress and vulnerability and all that sort of thing. So how do you bring that into getting people or corporations or organisations to want to come and work with you? What do you do?
The clients that come to me are the clients that are open-minded, that don't want the same old classroom teaching. So there's a lot of RTOs out there and organisations which teach soft skills, which is what the business side of what I teach is called: soft skills, communication, negotiation, critical thinking. It's and they don't just want to send their people to a classroom and learn and do some paperwork and maybe do some role plays. So where they can come here, it is three-dimensional learning. It's not two-dimensional learning, it's three-dimensional learning. So it is, it's real life, and it's, you change the classroom. Our classroom is an open-air arena.
Can we have a look at that now?
Yep, I'll take you out.
Look at the open-air arena so that people can get to know where they will do their training. It's absolutely amazing that you can, go outside and work, and this is where you work from. This is your base, this is your home, but this is, oh, look at the horses.
Yeah, Bernie's brought them in to feed them this morning, and we're setting up to run a session tomorrow.
Fantastic.
So we just got our two horses in to check them out and make sure everything is set and ready to go. So the classroom is different. So people who want something different out of training and want to get a much more rapid result. So what the horses are is they're an instant feedback system. So instead of going to a class, learning about something, doing a written assessment or doing a role play or doing a presentation and then getting feedback, they don't really test it in real time. Whereas here, they'll learn something, or they'll be challenged, they'll be given a problem, and then that problem is set up in the arena,
Yeah.
and they have to work together as a team and
The
plan.
horse and the individual work as a team. Yep.
Yes, all the humans will normally be 3 or 4 humans to one horse as their team. So
Right.
they need to treat the horse as a new team member that has limited communication skills, but can still read their energy and their body language.
Yeah.
So and that includes, that energy includes their intention.
Right.
Because often as humans we say things but we do the opposite.
Yes.
So,
yes.
and while they're doing their challenge or their problem, solving their problem in the arena, I'll be asking them to actually be aware or become aware of what they're thinking, saying, and doing, and how and what their team members are doing and saying, and how their part in the success of the team is having an effect.
And
so
that's,
they have to change something that they're saying or doing in order for the team to understand what they want and therefore work as a team to get the solution.
and that's clear communication skills, isn't it? It's actually the language that they use, the communication that they assume, because they understand it, they assume everyone else understands it. But that's not the case 99% of the time, is it? So this is giving them the clarity, the direction, and the understanding of what the language that they're using and the communication skills that they have. They need to up those, because if the horse doesn't understand it, which is their new team member, then who else doesn't understand it within the team as well?
And many times, so if leaders bring their team here, they're working with their teams as an equal. So everyone in the team is an equal. So although they nominate one leader, so they can rotate the leadership. So it's absolutely fabulous for people to understand what true leadership actually is and what is required, because a lot of people are dissatisfied and disengaged with their leaders, not having any comprehension of what that entails.
Yes.
So it works on, why the EAL is so powerful, it works on multi-layers simultaneously, covering a whole heap of soft skills all together, because in real life, that's how we have to use them.
Yes, but we don't. And we're not aware that we're not using them all together simultaneously. So when you're working with a horse and they're an amazing creature, they are an absolutely amazing creature. They'll either like you or they won't like you. It's a bit like humans.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that right?
Yep. And so the human and the horse doesn't hold any grudges, and the horse is completely honest. It's not something that they overheard you saying about them, or that you heard someone else telling you what they said about you to get some kind of hidden agenda. The horse's agenda is to feel safe, and they feel safe in a herd. And the herd they want to be in is the herd that knows all their roles and everyone knows their part and plays that part honestly and without judgment. They just do it.
And horses do that innately because it's an instinct that they have. You know, you have the brumbies that are out in the bush and they are all in herds and they all protect themselves. You have the ones that are in where you are now, and they know their roles, don't they? Each of them. And some are bossy and some are not, and they all understand each other, don't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, they all have a role. When a new horse comes into a herd, they have to find their position in the hierarchy, and there can be some serious push and shove. They're 500 and 600 kilo animals with lots of muscle and a very small brain. So it's very raw. It's down to the basic elements of thinking and behaviour. Whereas humans just put in all this rationalisation and this excuses to actually cover up what they're actually doing.
Yeah, and you said that a horse has a very big body, lots of muscle, 600 or 700 kilos, but they have a very small brain. But that small brain is very intuitive, isn't it? It's not the size of the brain.
In order for them to stay alive over thousands of years, they have had to develop their survival skills to extreme levels. So because they are a prey animal and not a predator, and this is what makes it different than working with dogs, for example, which are predators, or other humans, which are predators, they have a different take on functioning and staying alive in the world. So for them, so they need to work as a team in order to stay alive. And their number one priority in life is safety. Their second priority is food and water and basics, and their third is comfort.
And that's the instincts of a human, to be safe, to be comfortable, and to be surrounded by safety, I suppose. But as humans, we are more judgmental. We assume that people understand where we're coming from, and so therefore, with you taking a team out and working with the horses and changing the leaders around all the time, so that they, if they've never been a leader, they can get to understand what a leader actually has to do and what the responsibilities are. But there are also, there's a good leader and an excellent leader. And the excellent leader is someone who sees the excellence in the people that they lead and allow them to, think, and allow them to be able to have an opinion without any judgment and being able to say things. So you bring them into an environment where the people get the opportunity to experience being that leader and then understanding what skills they haven't got and what skills that they need to actually develop. Are we going to the arena with the horses?
Yeah.
Fabulous. This is exciting. Who have you got there?
I've got Duke and Music today.
Okay.
I'll be probably using Indy and Jet, our Brumby.
Right.
Tomorrow.
Yep.
So Bernie's just set up. Bernie has just set up the course for tomorrow's activities.
Right.
And he's come over to investigate, see if we've got any more.
Okay.
Any more goodies?
Who's this one?
So Duke is still all rugged up.
Okay.
Oops, my
tripod. Okay, so Duke's having a little bit of a feed there.
Yeah, so this is Duke. He was probably the horse that started it all, actually.
Okay.
I got into the equine assisted learning via Horses for Hope, which run equine assisted therapy for recovery of trauma.
Right.
So I took him there because he needed to be fixed, not me. What he was doing, which was being completely scared out of his mind, highly anxious, and just and became quite dangerous as a consequence. So I went to fix him. But I quickly found out that I had to actually, it was coming all from my energy and my hyper levels of awareness, which happens in PTSD. You have an overactive adrenal gland, which pumps out heaps of cortisol, and he was picking that up and thinking, oh my God, something else is going to happen, something else is going to happen. So that was a very quick learning curve of, I need to actually, so what's happening inside of me that I need to change, that he trusts me as the leader.
And that was a great learning for you, because then you can transpose that to other leaders and to people, because we give off these energies, these negative energies that they as horses can sense.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. Yeah,
who's this one? Is this Music?
Yeah, she's just pushing Duke out the way because she's the lead mare. Checking that.
Love it.
The feed. But you noticed that she didn't do it aggressively. She didn't him or anything like that. So
she just came up behind him.
Once we learn once we have those ahas of this isn't working in our lives, and this is actually done in real time in the arena. Okay, this is what I would normally do in this situation. And then the horse will feed back to us going, I have no idea what you want, and you're very confusing and you're almost threatening.
Yes.
The human goes, oh, that didn't work. what do I need to change?
Yes.
And then they have the opportunity of trying different things. So it's, you know, like I said from the beginning, better than a written assessment or a test or anything like that, because you actually doing it in a safe environment that's not going to impact your business. It's not going to, but it may very well impact your business as far as positives.
Yes, in
So
a
what
great
you learn,
way. And,
what you learn here can be taken back to the workplace or taken back to your family even. So the group I'm working with tomorrow is a family group.
oh, fantastic.
And, yeah, they take it back into their life. They're on a curriculum program as distinct from the team building and the leadership programs.
Okay.
But the same lessons can be learned. So whatever the horses will teach us to not only change the way we approach things and how we do things, but how to refine that approach. So the difference between being pushy and being assertive, respectfully assertive.
Yes.
You know, they teach us all of those things.
And what ages do you teach? Do you teach from young to older groups? Specifically, you'd have them in groups and age groups. So what age do you start from?
So minimum age is 8 years, mental capacity of 8 years.
Right.
So I like the teenagers can be always challenging, but I love the family thing, because what they do in the arena they can all take home as a team and practice at home.
Oh.
So, and then so I've had people in here that I had a guy in here who's 84.
Oh, really?
He came with a not-for-profit organisation.
Oh, look,
and he was brilliant. He had so much life learning, and I think you know yourself, once you get to a certain age, you don't care about as many things as do I look good as, and you know, blah blah blah. You don't. He was just so authentic that the horses just went, right, you're a no BS person, and I'm going to hang around you, and you're very clear with what you're wanting.
And they like you too, don't they? The horses will come up and show their affection to you. Because, you know, if once you relax and you get to know and handle a horse, and I mean, that takes a while, but you can learn how to handle a horse in a very short space of time. But it's over a period of time that those skills build. Yeah. But it's also, you know, developing that trust, that know, like, and trust with the horse, and the horse doing the same thing with you. Yeah. And they will stand by you and just, you know, almost fall asleep if they're comfortable, won't they?
For sure. And like I said, the first thing of priority is safety, and then after is basic food and water, and then comfort. So if they feel comfortable with you, means you've been successful in actually starting a relationship with them, a relationship strong enough for them to trust what you're asking them to do. Because if they don't trust the team, if the team is not communicating well, or all thinking different things and not and doing different things, the horse will feel incredibly insecure because
confused,
doesn't have their shit together, basically. So they will either stop doing what the team wants, or at worst instance, they have the freedom to walk away. So one thing I'm going to make point here is that there is no riding our horses in the program.
Yes,
a lot of people come and think, oh, I thought I was going to ride. And we don't ride our horses because they are our teachers, and they need the freedom to give you their response. And their response will be either refusing to do something, or, if very worse, walking away. And so in 2 sessions, in 2.5 years, or 3 sessions, our horses actually chosen to walk away from their team.
Really? And what's the response of the team been when the horses walked away from them? Because that would be quite confronting, really, when the team's not cohesive and they're not working together, although they think they are, and the horse senses this and says, I've had enough, I'm leaving, I'm out of here. Yeah.
The horse, so I'm as a facilitator, I'm watching to keep everything safe and to actually step in for those teachable moments. And I probably would have said to the team, what is your horse telling you? Because the horse doesn't just make a decision and walk away. That's the 4th step in the process. So usually everything has 3 or 4 steps, or escalations, if you like. And first they might just stop, and then they might stick their head up, and then, but the horse will be giving them feedback the entire time. And what I'm asking them to do is become aware of all of their teammates, including their horse. And they have obviously been so focused on solving the problem and getting the problem solved at all costs. The horse is just going, I'm out of here. These guys do not know what they're doing, and they're getting very aggressive, and I am out of here. So there would have been an escalation to that point. And I will say, oh, what's your horse telling you now? And they'll kind of turn around as the horse is walking away or he's pulling away, and they're going, oh, he's not happy. And I went, why is he not happy? So I'm not giving them the explanation. I'm asking them to figure that out for themselves, because that's the best way you learn.
And how long does it take them to actually realize that they're not all, communicating the same things and giving off that right vibration for everyone? This is a great learning for people, because, we assume that someone understands something because you can say something to somebody and you know exactly what you've said, but anyone can interpret it in a different way. It depends on how it's said, what is said, the tone of the voice, and all those sorts of things. And so the horse interprets that all as well, don't they?
Absolutely. How long does it take? Sometimes it's usually only a couple of seconds. It'll be, so after each obstacle, I will ask them to have a mini debrief. And I'll ask them to explain why does each one of them think that the horse walked away, or why do you think, why are you having so much trouble with this, or what was your biggest challenge? Why do you think that is? What could you have done better? What did you need to change in order to get success? And keeping in mind that failure isn't going to cost them anything. Failure is just simply an opportunity to learn.
Yes.
So they then have the opportunity to try something else and try it better, if they have the time. So it usually only takes a couple of minutes to realise something has gone wrong. It might take them a lot longer to realise what they perhaps could have done better, or what exactly went wrong. So that can happen either instantly, it can happen in the mini debrief after each station when you've got a team, or it can happen in a debrief back in the room, because we do a complete, an overall large team debrief after the session back in the training room. And it can even happen up to 48 hours after they leave here.
Yeah. And the experience after they've done all the practical side of it, and they've gone up into the training room again, sitting there and debriefing, and someone might see something in a different way and make a comment, and someone else will make a comment about that. So the communication gets rolling, and they're thinking, oh, you thought that, I thought this, oh, I didn't see that, you saw that, etc., etc. So it's all about looking at, that team leader understanding what each person in their team is doing and thinking, and it's getting those vibrations and those energies into unity, I suppose you could say, to know what if everyone's on the same wavelength at some stage during, working time. So this is great education for people to come out and experience this. And as I said, I've experienced it, and it was hard work. But it taught me a lot of things about who I am, and taught me a lot of things about the horses. Mm-hmm. So doing this training and working with you, Karen, to be able to bring teams closer together, to have a better understanding of what goes on in a workplace, and the team leader being on top of and understanding each individual and knowing what they need at every point, is a what I was going to say a big ask, but it's a role that is really vital to making and keeping the functions of that organisation running smoothly.
Absolutely. So as any kind of leader, you want to act. I've done a lot on profiling and leadership styles, etc. And there's more research coming out, and different names for the same type of leadership that comes out, but the one I choose to relate best to how we learn from the horses is it's a stewardship of leadership. So the steward is making sure it's not micromanaging, it's not undermanaging, it's empowering your staff or your team with the right skills and information that they need, and then offering them support, okay, making them feel comfortable and safe so they have the freedom to go and do what they need to do.
Yeah.
And then getting and feeling that success and appreciating that. So, you know, people go, oh, what about micromanaging? What about undermanagement? Well, there are ways to kind of assess if you're doing either one of those.
Yes.
And a lot of times I see, and it doesn't even have to be in a workplace,
No.
I'll say, oh, we've got a couple of control freaks in the arena. And they go, I would never have said that. And I'm going, well, I can see it happening because they're the ones that are hanging on to the horse with two hands with right up underneath the chin of the horse, and the horse can't see properly.
Yeah.
It doesn't know what it's doing, and it's failing all the tasks they're asking it to do, and then they eventually jack up and walk away.
Yes.
And it's like you need to give the horse the freedom to see and do something. Okay, so a person that's the classic indication of someone that wants to micromanage everything in order to get it right, but in which case they're shooting themselves in the foot. Yeah. Because they're using way too much time rather than set their team member up for success by giving them the right training, making sure they understand what is asked of them correctly, and that's being that clear communication piece, and supporting them, saying, you know, giving them, you know, defined, if you think of SMART goals, defined time frames. Oh, can you do this? It should take you approximately blah, blah, blah. Let me know if you have any problems. And and once you've finished that, I'll put you on to something else. This is the most basic level of supervision. So it's to the most extreme level. You do not want a CEO that has to micromanage everyone, because they will be physically and mentally exhausted and not be doing their job.
Yeah, and that's so true. So Karen, we're coming to the end of this, and I know that we're going to do some more shows. Give me 3 examples of teams that have come out to you that have either been micromanaging, not managing at all, not understanding their team, and the results that you've seen after they've come to you and worked with you.
Okay, so the micromanagers will always realise that straight away when we do the debrief. And so they'll either realise that themselves, or the team will I say, when we do the debrief, they'll bring that up. We thought we knew we could do it, but we had this, our leader was constantly saying this and that and kind of repositioning to the nth degree, and we ran out of time. So that will that's what they will see immediately. And then the people do this because they don't know what the alternative is. And then in the debrief, because I have a lot of senior management experience, and I can say, well, this is some of the things that you do. That's when we give the tips, hints, and strategies of how to do it better back in the workforce. I'll have teams that come here. So I've had the first team groups that I had here were amazing. I would say they were very high functioning teams. And I thought, wow, these guys have really got it together, because I saw that because they did really good planning before they attempted anything in the arena. Their communication was fabulous. And I don't know if I did notice they were all women. So this was a
Woohoo!
a dental company, and they were all women. And I knew the owner, and she had done a lot of training with this staff already. So she had done a brilliant job with them. And they still came away with, so wasn't necessarily micromanagement in that particular group, but the owner came away with, she said to me later on, she goes, it was really great for her because she got to see her team members differently than before. And there was a couple of team members that weren't functioning as well as she had hoped, and she didn't know what was going wrong, but she saw exactly what was going wrong when they were working in the arena. So that gave her clarity on where the problem was.
Yeah.
So that was an added bonus for any kind of business owners to
Fantastic.
actually watch how their team works as an observer or as part of the team.
Yeah.
And also I've had other teams that because I said everyone's on a level playing field, they actually appreciated their leader, their work leader, more because of how they were being treated as a team member in the arena.
Yeah.
So they felt where before they were scared of the team leader because they didn't have much to do with her.
Yeah.
And they came away going, oh, I really kind of see my boss in a different way because she was so supportive and so encouraging and so helpful when we were working together. And she was really encouraging me to step up and do these things, and it gave me enormous confidence. And I now really want to do more for that leader because because I can see her in a different light. It's not just a scary leader that has the power to fire me.
Yeah.
And the third one with the they were an organisation, not-for-profit organisation, and they had a great relationship, fun relationship, very easygoing. What they said to me afterwards was there was a couple of micromanagers and control freaks, and they said they had an inkling that was the case beforehand. It was just confirmed in the arena, but they said what they saw with their other team members allowed them to step back a bit more, and they could trust that they would be able to do what they're asking to do. So that's all of those. There's kind of about 20 different skills and aha moments and things like trust, confidence, definitions of being assertive versus being pushy, reinterpreting what other people say and do. So that communication piece is very strong. The problem solving comes into expansion about it's not just an individual problem solving, it's problem solving as a team, so they get the benefit of learning how to brainstorm and to plan and be able to change quickly. So yeah, all of those things.
Beautiful. Now, how can they get in touch with you, Karen?
Okay, so they can contact us on either the email, which is admin@themataniaeffect.com.au. I know it's a mouthful. I'm thinking about shortening it to the tme.com.au, but at the moment it's the Matania Effect, which will be on your site. Or they can contact me by mobile if they want, 0408 861 645. That's 0408 861 645. And and I will from time to time, or they can just log on through my website and register, and I'll send them updates. I don't kind of hammer people with emails all the time. I maybe do four a year to people, so they won't be inundated.
Yeah.
They subscribe and said, yeah, we want to find out more. And I'm happy if businesses are interested. I'm always happy to come into your workplace and have a chat with you, and also do some tasters. If we've got a professional development in your senior team that you want to, do a day out here brainstorming, they can do a session in the arena and then use the beautiful training room with the wood fire and the tea and coffee facilities and spend the rest of the day.
Beautiful. And thank you, Karen. And there will be more of these sessions because there's so much more to what you do. And this is Talking All Things Business. I'm Faye Waterman, and until next time, if you feel that you would like to be on to talk about who you are, what your business is, why you do what you do, and the problems you solve, to share it so that people get to know, like, and trust you, then connect with me, send me a message through my Facebook page, and we'll have the conversation of how you can get onto the show. But bye for now.
Mm-hmm.